Sometimes it's kind of hard to draw the line between a worship service and a concert, or performing a song and leading a crowd in worship. So for you guys, how do you kind of find that balance between the two, where you feel like, okay, I'm really doing well in my art, but I'm also not drawing the attention to me? Anybody?
Well, I think like for us, it's not, especially after touring for like a couple years, and like it's just not even really a struggle anymore. Like our hearts are completely set on God, and it's like it's not a routine, but at the same time, it's like every night we're gonna give everything. Every night we're gonna like sweat and pray and worship and just not so that other people be changed, but we enjoy every night, worshiping. We grow every night from the services or shows or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that becomes less and less worries in our head, like putting on a show, or like we definitely don't want kids to come and just watch us. So there's a balance, like trying to find of like not being too crazy, I think, to like, but at the same time, like we're just giving everything, and I think people realize that, and they see it's real and it's worship, and I think that's what allows kids to kind of connect to it.
Yeah.
Can I say something too?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I think for I know me personally, it's been because I came from a background of playing, professionally, just doing playing a lot of clubs and gigging and all that stuff, and just that show mentality, which, that is what it is, but our hearts are definitely different, and individually and as a ministry. And I remember specifically I had a breaking point on this when we were in New Zealand playing the Parachute Festival, and festivals for us and being on a stage that big is a new thing, you know? It's a humbling thing, So, but, just all that stuff started coming back, just the show, you got to perform, you got to play great in front of all these people. And it's just like, at the end of the day, who cares if I screw up on the drums? Who cares if we play a wrong note, sing flat? Like, what's our heart, And our heart is for Jesus to come and touch these people. And I bet it has a lot more to do with him than my perfect performance.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
That's good.
But I don't sing flat.
You were still perfect, but it doesn't matter. Now, I was going to ask you guys, you mentioned Come and Live, which for anyone who's not familiar is a nonprofit community of musicians. And so you guys are actually technically a nonprofit, not just a band, and make your music available for free, but kind of rely on donations. So what was it that compelled you to kind of go that route and join the Come and Live community?
Yeah, we've never really been the traditional band. I mean, from even how we were formed, that story, to how we tour and our goal of what we're out doing and all that kind of stuff. And I really got a sense early on. I mean, we all spent like years of our lives kind of wasting our gifts and talents on selfish ambition and selfish gain, And it seems like the second we all kind of realized that we were in it for ourselves and surrendered ourselves to God and said, like, all this comes from you, so just, take it and do with it what you want, and made our priorities his, and made his priorities ours, and his agenda ours, and everything just kind of shifted, And I knew from a early, before there was Ascend the Hill or we'd put out a record, I knew that the traditional label route wasn't something that was necessarily for us, but it was something that was going to be different or whatever. And God had spoke to me like early on that we weren't going to have to depend on the traditional route and the traditional way and the booking agents and the labels and borrowing money and touring for 2 years to try to pay it back and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, like, to this day, we have clung to what we know God has called us to. And to this day, like, we've just never gone without, Like, all of our records have been paid for by people who believe in what we're doing.
That's awesome.
And who believe in the call of God on our lives. We don't owe a dime to anybody, so we can do with our music what we feel like God wants us to do with it. We're able to reach people in a way that other bands normally couldn't. I mean, we don't charge guarantees when we go to churches or venues or clubs. Like, we just ask for a love offering and, whatever God puts on their heart. Like, we learned early on as a band that our provision was not in a church, wasn't in a club, wasn't in a venue, wasn't in a check, wasn't in merch sales, although God uses those things. But I mean, like, what kind of band gives away their music for free? A business model based on simple living and radical generosity is like the worst business plan ever. Like, as far as the industry is concerned, you know. But like, God takes care of us, and we're able to do what we're called to do with our lives. And sure, there's things that we want and things that we desire, but our needs are met. Like, we have roofs over our heads, we have full bellies, and all that kind of stuff. And Come and Live for us was just a beautiful partnership because they're not concerned with any of that other garbage either, Like, what kind of a label builds their business plan on simple living and radical generosity, Like, hey, why don't you partner with us as a label and give your music away for free? Oh, and by the way, there's no money in marketing. There's no, like, tour support. There's no, like, advance for records. There's just no money. So,
Yeah.
Like, to partner with people who have the same kingdom mind and who just are open and hungry to see God do, like, whatever he wants to do, it was just a no-brainer for us.
Yeah.